It is your classic metal show.
It is your classic metal show.
It is your hormonal show.
Maybe now we should do the sing-off everyone's asking for.
That, of course, was Joetown, and I say of course because I knew who it was.
Yeah.
No one else knew.
No, that was very Black Label-ish.
I love it. That's from their from Joetown's album Pills and Ammo.
Right.
Which no one remembers that record at all.
Or the band.
But Joe Delaney from Joetown was a friend of the Classic Metal Show when his band was in existence. Loved him, big fan. I still play the Joetown record all the time. Good shit. Before that, we had some Russell Allen from Symphony X and from, my brother in Fire, since he went through a fucking awful
fire.
God,
that was terrible. Yeah. That accident killed the bass player.
Yeah, killed
the manager.
And the manager, too. And just suck. And, dude, let me just tell you. So, when that accident happened, I get this message. I won't say from who. I'll tell you off air from who.
Okay.
But it was somebody that told me that I should send them a copy of my book because it would be good promo.
Are you shitting me?
I'm dead serious. They were
my God.
They were like, you could press release it and you could send them a copy of Call Me Chris and get some good press out of it. And I was like, you know what? How about if I don't?
Yeah. Hey, asshole, how about read the room?
How about, as somebody that's been through it, I really don't want to fucking commercialize it.
Yeah.
They're going through a hard enough time, which I can relate to.
Yep.
I think I'll pass on your fine suggestion.
Yeah. Especially with that manager, man. Yeah. I mean, she lived for what, like 2 months or no? It was like a month. Yeah, it was a while, I think, and finally she passed away. So that sucked.
It did suck, and I would never, believe me, I'll commercialize the piss out of my own book, but I'm not going to do that. That's
that's whoring yourself out. That's disgusting.
Hey, I'm sorry to hear that you got burned. And speaking of burns, buy my book. Call Me Chris.
Yeah, right.
Ugh, yeah, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me a quote about me giving you a copy of my book? Yes, I turned the pages with the third finger that wasn't burned.
Oh,
I mean, what are you gonna fucking say?
Yeah,
it's like, what a terrible idea.
Yeah,
it's like, I know I'm in the rock world, but do we really need to go there?
Yeah, right. So, and before that was the new release by Dream Theater. So I asked you off air, but I mean, You always try and force yourself to listen to Dream Theater. You always tell me, like, I'm trying to listen to Dream Theater. I'm like, dude, you don't like them though. Like, why are you doing this? Like, so what do you think of the new stuff?
It's not bad. It sounds like Dream Theater. I mean, it's. I don't hate Dream Theater. It's the problem I have with Dream Theater is I know as a music fan I should enjoy them. Maybe not their whole songs, but I should be able to say, well, I like this or I like that.
Parts of songs and stuff? Yeah.
Not even parts of songs. I should be able to say, look, I understand that John Petrucci is one of the top, I'll say 10, that plays the instrument.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that. So I should be able to say, as somebody that is in classic metal and is a classic metal fan, I should be able to say, okay, I like what he did here.
Yeah.
And I can't. And I understand that Portnoy is one of the top 5-10 drummers.
Yeah.
And I should be able to say that with him. And I can't. And it's that weird dichotomy of I almost think I don't understand their music. I really do. I think it's just, it doesn't resonate in my head that I'd rather listen to fucking something trash, Kiss, Dynasty versus anything by Dream Theater.
Well, I mean,
make sense.
It's one of those bands that you either really get it or you really don't like it. I mean, there's really not a middle ground because, but I mean, that's why they've had such a successful career because they can play 2,000 seaters every tour.
Sure.
But they'll never get up to like a 10,000 seater or an 8,000 seater, because you just have those 2,000 diehards in every city that'll come to see them.
Right.
So, I mean, I when they put out these first two songs, I was really wondering what you would think because it's like
it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, basically what it is like, I mean, a couple of years they always have like what Dream Theater does is they go into the writing sessions with here's what we want to do with this record. Like when they did Train of Thought in 2004, they wanted to write a quote unquote classic heavy metal album.
Right.
They wanted to make something really heavy. And when the album after that, Octavarium, they wanted to do a classic progressive record. They wanted to be really progressive, like a Yes type of thing.
Sure.
And so when they did the self-titled record, I think it was 2012 or something, they said they wanted to take their long form and compress it into like 5-minute songs. And I personally, it's one of my least favorite records because it just didn't come across, because it was like you get in this cool riff and then all of a sudden it changes. It just changed too fast. Like it didn't breathe. Whereas this new stuff kind of sounds like what they should have done on that record, which and I love it because it's back down to, I mean, again, 6.5 minutes, 7 minutes, like is a long song, but it's more compressed and it doesn't feel like the song's that long.
It's
you know,
not 22 minutes of Octavarium.
Yeah, and you know what they did though? I mean, you can totally tell. If you're a musician and you know how things work in the writing world and everything, they actually lived together for like 2-3 months at this barn out in New York, and they wrote the record live in a room like a local band would do, instead of sending parts back together or writing it in the studio, putting shit together. Like they actually lived there and just jammed it live, and you can hear it's more kinetic, and I think it sounds great.
With all the instrumental masturbation going on, they might as well live together and blow each other. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right.
All right, let's call Neeley real quick.
I was going to say, we got to get Neeley on here.
I'm going to hit the button here. I don't know if it makes any noise. There it goes.
There it is.
Ring, ring.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Dockin and Rat.
One ring. You picked up on one ring. You were eagerly awaiting our call.
Well, we're just sitting here listening to you guys jabber jaw about Dream Theater while I was hanging out with Jordan Rudis
today.
No, you weren't. Were you really?
I was.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, man.
I was in the Korg booth with Jordan today, and he was just like, yeah, you want to grab a picture? I said, no, that's all right.
You couldn't just get that one for me, could you?
Nope. Nope. I said, that's all right. I'll reserve my picture taking with real rock stars.
Oh, you got to take digs. All the way across the country, you got to take digs at me, man.
I could have taken a picture with Mike Portnoy, too, but, I said, Mike, you're a cool guy, but thanks, but no thanks.
You ain't that cool. You're cool, but you're not Neeley cool.
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah. You just didn't want pictures with them because their band name doesn't have 2 Ks in it.
That's right.
Dream Theater.
Yeah. Right.
So what's up, brother? I mean, you've been out in LA for 3-4 days at this point.
Since Wednesday, and I'm looking at the weather. I fly back tomorrow, and I see it's going to be -11 on Wednesday.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's like 80 degrees and sunny here today, and I'm going to go back to -11.
Well, you love that though, don't you? So, dude, you've been entertaining me anyway. I will say that. I don't know if the fans are appreciating the videos and stuff that you've been sending, but I said it to you on the phone. I'm going to say it to you on the show as well. If you did nothing right the entire time that you were out in LA, getting me that Max Norman video was the best thing that is coming out of NAMM this weekend. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah, to have Max Norman tell you to fuck off.
I loved it though, dude. It was so good, man. So you're obviously having a good time out there, man. So talk a little bit about the band versus brand, of which you are the big star, and and everything going on out there.
Well, I flew in here Wednesday afternoon, and I got here just in time to get checked into the hotel and head down to the venue where Bob and crew put together a big gala for the band versus brand screening, and then they had the induction ceremonies for the History of Heavy Metal Hall of Fame, which Jeff Pilson from Dokken, Lita Ford, David Ellefson, Frank Mello, also Lee Kerslake. All these people got inducted down there, and of course it was hosted by our friend Eddie Trunk.
Right.
And I don't know what is with Eddie, but everybody come up on stage to either accept their award and kind of give like a little speech and thank you and just talk like normal people in this room.
Right.
Then Eddie would come out and he would start yelling every time he got on the mic, he would start yelling, "Yeah, let's put your hands together for Mike Portnoy." And, every time just yelling. I was sitting at a table with Nader, the priest, and we were just sitting there hanging out and cutting up. And every time Eddie got up there, he would just start yelling. And it's like, why is he yelling?
Right.
But everybody was there. I got to hang out with Lita a little bit and, hang out and meet and greet with a lot of people. So, of course, as I promised the fans, since Eddie was there in the room, as soon as this thing was over, Bob and I went back to the backstage area to track Eddie down so I could offer him $100 for the lint in his pocket. that guy was nowhere to be found. I had a brand new, crisp $100 bill. Bob's at the ready with his camera phone to see me do this. That guy was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. He bolted out of there like nobody's business.
Now, do you think it was just because he wanted to get the fuck out of there, or do you think that his lint was too valuable? He didn't want to negotiate.
No, I was told by several people that Eddie shows up to these things, does what he has to do, and then takes the money and runs.
Takes the money before he gets on stage and then just does his shit and leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just ducks out, So we went looking for him, and we couldn't find him anywhere. We're talking minutes,
right,
after this thing was over, and he was out of there.
That's funny. So I'm curious, one that I have not talked to you about, and we can certainly talk about all the people that you did meet, but I didn't see. Did you get a chance to meet Lee Kearslake?
I did not, because he was in such poor health.
Okay.
That he could barely walk up on the stage. This guy, unfortunately, due to his health issues, he's extremely heavy.
Yeah.
And could barely walk. And he made the trek over from the UK just to be there to accept his award and also accept his platinum records, the Aussie records.
Right.
And I'm sure you may or may not have seen online today that somebody had reported that he died.
Right, yeah, I did see that.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
But he didn't.
But that was a false report.
Oh, boy.
Fake news! Fake news!
Fake news!
Well, it really was, and they basically had the photos from that ceremony the other night up there. But, he was in pretty poor health, so as soon as he received his award, he certainly didn't hang around and meet and greet Glad Hand, because they had to, basically wheel him out of there.
Right.
So no, I did not.
Okay.
I did not see or talk to him because of the circumstances.
Yeah, but you did hobnob with a bunch of people. You've been sending me pictures and shit for days, man. It seems like you've been meeting a bunch of people.
Well, it's fun. I mean, you meet all kinds of people. We ran. I'll tell you a good story here. Bob has been cracking up on this story for the last day or so.
All right.
But on this band versus brand, this thing comes out next month. When does it come out, Bob? The 12th of February, so this will be available.
Okay.
So Carmine Apiece and Vinny have this band together, the Appice brothers or Apiece brothers.
Right.
And they were there performing their dual drum thing and whatnot. So both Vinny and Carmine were there.
Right.
Well, yesterday at NAMM, I'm walking through the hallway there at NAMM, and Carmine is there hawking his book.
Okay.
And so I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Carmine," I said, "I checked, I saw your show the other night at the induction ceremony. It was pretty good." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, thanks, man." He goes, "Hey, did you happen to see that movie?" And I said, "What, the band versus brand?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in it." And he goes, "Well, I'm not in it. This is something I don't understand. I've had a long relationship with Cleopatra for years, and when it comes to band versus brand, I'm one of the first people who ever branded their own brand." And he shows me his Carmine Apiece brand. He says, "See that? That's all over all kinds of musical instruments and everything." He says, "My brand is everywhere. Not only that, I have more experience in this business than any one of those people in that movie, and I can tell stories, and not only that, I'm funny about telling them too." And I'm just like, "Well, okay." I said, "Well, that was kind of Bob's deal there." He goes, "Oh, fuck him."
Nice.
You should have said, well, goddamn it,
Carmine.
You should have said, goddamn, Carmine, you could have had one of my slots. I had 5.
I said, well, okay, Carmine, it was good talking to you. What do you want me to do? I'm just standing here, and he went on this 2-minute tirade about that.
Sorry to upset you, sir.
Yeah.
But he was cool, you know. I was just surprised that he just went off on that rant, you know. It's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah. That's funny.
So I told Bob, he got a good laugh out of that.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah. So, we hung around NAMM yesterday and today. Bob knows everybody. So we just kind of walked around, ran into Jeff Pilson a couple of times, and ran into Roy Z. And, as I told you, ran into Jordan Rudess and just a bunch of people. Scott Ian and Rob Zombie and David Ellison, George Lynch. He was his happy-go-lucky self today.
What was Lynch promoting? Does he have a guitar or something?
He's always at the SB booth.
Okay,
he's sort of one of their main boys up there.
All right.
So he's always there. And then I got to hang out with the lovely Jasmine St. Clair today.
Those are some nice tits. I mean, she's a nice girl.
She was very ultra friendly.
Yeah,
I had never met her before face to face, but she treated me like she'd known me forever.
Did you even see her face?
Nah, she was really nice, and I chatted with her for a little while. We ran into her a couple of times today, so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And just aside from the good hang and the weather and sitting outside having some Jack and Cokes and whatnot, it's been a good experience.
Right? Is your boy there? Or you haven't mentioned him once?
Who, Bob?
No, Don.
Don.
Oh, well, I'll tell you about Don.
All right.
I was supposed to go have dinner with him on Thursday.
Okay.
And as you know, Don has 2 residences. He lives in Santa Fe part of the time, and he lives out here part of the time, and he's on the road part of the time. Well, a week ago, they had 5 days straight of rain here.
Okay.
And when he got home, he was out in the Midwest last weekend. He played Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Well, when he got home on Monday, he came home to a mudslide that took out his kitchen.
Oh,
holy shit!
So since he's got home Monday, they've been digging out mud and rock and stone. And he sent me a video of his backyard where they had to set up this like a elevator type chute, and they're just like dredging out all the mud that just slid into the back of his house.
Jeez.
So I did not. He had to cancel his appearance here at NAMM, and I did not get to see him at all because he's just been digging his house out for the last couple of days.
Jesus Christ!
So I actually have one question. This is the music nerd in me. So, and then you can get on with more important things.
Eddie Van Halen, yes, I saw Eddie Van Halen. His new line of guitars is very cool.
That's what I was going to ask, because it was rumored he was going to be there, and he put out the Shark guitar that was supposed to be. Did you see it?
It was awesome.
Did you jerk off when you saw it?
I did. I came in my pants a little bit.
Come on, Neeley. You know I don't like a lot of stuff, and Van Halen's my religion. Come on, I just had to know. But yeah, there was a rumor that he was going to be there. So
yeah. Well. Also, Mikey was there.
Such a nice guy.
And he was signing stuff, and our good friend Sammy Lee, he's goes, dude, get up there and get me the scoop on the Van Halen reunion.
Oh, yeah, because he'll tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Well, who am I, Mark Strickle?
Nice.
But no, seriously, I said, well, come on, Sammy. I said, even if it's true, I said, he's not going to tell anybody.
Right.
Going to ruin that payday.
It's going to happen. I said, well, I'm no Eddie Trunk, but I don't think he's going to reveal whether that's actually happening or not.
Yeah, that's going to come out in a press release when they announce show dates if it's going to happen.
Totally.
And when they have a signed contract.
Exactly. Not before.
Yeah, so he's not going to say anything even if it was true. So yeah, it was, again, NAMM is definitely an experience for, if anybody has an opportunity to be able to go to that thing. It's pretty overwhelming.
Well, so
it's 4 floors of a convention center, from the basement all the way up to the 3rd floor. So you got 4 floors of nothing but musical instruments, people, artists endorsing these things, so it's a menagerie over there for sure.
I've never like known is this like a public thing, or do you have to
No,
have a it's like an invite only thing, or
invite only? You have to have a pass. You have to be endorsed through some merchant.
Okay. Because I've always wondered that. Like, I've heard about it all the time, obviously. Like, and I pay attention to this stuff, like, with people putting products out, especially Van Halen. And I've always wondered, like, can I just buy a ticket to this thing, or?
No,
and I've never known.
It's not open to the public. You got to have a pass, and it's almost more strict to get into this thing than it is to get on a plane.
Wow.
Get your IDs out, so they, you have to have your ID. You have to have your barcode. Then you get that, and before they'll even let you through the gate, then you have to show your ID, and they compare it to your badge and all.
Jesus.
Wow, no shit.
Before they'll let you in the door.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty tight ship over there.
Nice. Well, dude, I want to go backwards to Wednesday, man. It's funny because you watched the movie the same day I did, because I just happened to get it in the mail the same day that the premiere was going on, and I'm not even kidding. I think you are the most featured speaker in the movie.
Well, when I walked in, the guy who produced this movie, he said he recognized me right away, and he came up to me and he says, "You're featured very prominently in this movie." And I said, "I am." He goes, "Yeah." He says, "We used a lot of your parts." And I don't think the whole interview that I did was more than 20 minutes total.
Yeah,
but they used a lot of that footage, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, you were featured 5 times, I think I counted.
Right.
Which is, and I don't think anybody else. I think Ellefson was second with 3.
Yeah, and Jerry Best was in there a few times.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, after the thing was over, quite a few people came up and, either shook my hand or whatever. "Oh, man, that was really poignant, very prominent. You made a lot of great points, and wow, that was really good." And I was like,
right.
Okay, cool.
Well, dude, and it is such a, and not sucking Bob's dick at all, but it's a fucking great movie.
It is a great movie, and again, I'm appreciative of the chance that I had to be a part of that.
Sure.
So, but since you mentioned Bob and sucking his dick, I'm going to let you suck Bob's dick right now.
All right.
Mr. Aiken, Neeley, get back on that bed and give me that sexy pose again. Neeley's been giving a sexy pose on his bed here.
I'll
there
bet.
You go. That's what we want to see.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Fuck Jon Drake, you fucking asshole.
He walked away.
I don't hate you, dude.
He went to take a piss because he knew that you were getting ready to come on.
Okay. I was going to talk Dream Theater with, I was getting autographs from the guys in Dream Theater for him and everything. And so, I hear Neeley talking, but he forgot to mention the most important person.
Who, you?
That we met at NAMM.
You?
No.
Who?
No. Someone that idolizes Neeley more than anyone.
Who?
Her name is Kimmy.
Oh, Kimmy from
Shoes Mom.
The Shoes Mom. You ran into her, huh?
Dude, it was. I'm surprised he didn't tell you the story. We're leaving, heading out. We're in like the main hallway of the convention center.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, dude, whatever happened to the shoe? Because I remember last time we were here, we saw the shoe and his mom. And since then, I haven't heard anything about him.
Yeah.
I said, we're bullshitting. We're like, I don't know. I don't know this and that. Literally. And we're talking well over 100,000 people in this convention, right?
Jesus. All right.
Right when we're talking about this, here comes Miles
Right.
and his mom.
No kidding.
His mom, like, right what we're talking about. And Neely's, oh, we're just talking about you. And, of course, Kimmy's eyeing him up and down once again. And
Neeley just needs to bang her.
That's what I'm saying. But it was just so ironic that they're right there. And anyway, I'm not going to carry on about
no, it's all good.
You might be listening.
I'm sure not.
But a good time, man. The screening, I will say, man, the screening went over so well. I really owe it so much to Pat Gesualdo for having us have the film premiere there. I mean, it's funny. I was there with Tim from Cleopatra, and he's like, dude, Bob, how the fuck did you pull this up? Shit, if we were to do this at Cleopatra, it would use $10,000 minimum, to do something. I mean, they had dinner for everyone there. There was like 400 people there. Everyone ate. They had about 3 or 4 bars. We're talking a giant, a conference room, and everything just was super smooth. He gave me an unlimited guest list of fans, so we brought in a lot of people. Tons of the people from the movie showed up. I would say at least half the people in the movie were there, and then all the other people. And hearing what Carmine said about me just made my day. When Neeley told me that story, it's like, yeah, I was so important that Carmine told me to fuck off. I thought that was great. And the funny thing is, I just interviewed him a couple of weeks ago over the phone.
Nice.
But,
well, dude,
very funny. But
dude,
yeah, go ahead.
As you're aware, I was watching the movie and texting you back and forth, like as the movie was playing. I was giving you almost like a Twitter review as I watched the movie, man. And I would tell you, and I would certainly say it on the air if it fucking sucked or if it was boring or just not up to par. I told you it personally. I'll say it on the air. It is the best movie that you've done. Of the inside medals in this, I'll take this. It makes you think, and really, for me personally, it really made me have a completely different view of what's going on out there with these bands. It's really good.
Thanks, dude. That's exactly what we were going for. And thank you so much, because that makes me feel really good. Because as I think I told you before the show, or before the movie came out, and before the screening, because I knew, dude, it was like a who's who of rock stars out there. And I was kind of like worried. I'm like, fuck, is this movie going to go over? And it's always a scary thing doing a movie screening when it's not your event. We're doing it at a fucking award show. Most of the screenings we do is at a proper theater. Here's, people are eating dinner during the thing. There's, people are going up to get drinks and all this. But, it went over really well. I got, tons of compliments, big applause after the movie. And it just went so smooth. And I was worried because, as a fanboy doing like the inside metal stuff, it was stuff I grew up on. I knew all these bands and grew up with it. It's just, doing this as a business perspective was a totally different thing for me, And so I didn't really know how it would work. But, just what you said, we wanted the people to think, we didn't have a certain agenda. I think, like I said last time on your show about all these documentaries is always an agenda about, okay, branding is bad.
Yeah.
Think like this, or, if it's a political thing, okay, Republicans are evil, or McDonald's is evil, or so-and-so is, whatever. And that was the thing when we did this. I want the people to make their own assumption, and just basically give out the way the business is now. And this is just the reality of how, not just the music business, but the entertainment business in general. It's only going to get worse as more and more people pass away, the hologram and everything else. All this new technology is going to carry on. And unless there's really killer arena-style bands that could take over after, the AC/DCs and the Metallicas and the Iron Maidens and, all these bands are gone, that's what it's going to end up being. And it's, I took it as a realistic view, and everyone kind of gave their honest opinions and what they've went through as far as branding. And, I was really happy with it. And and I appreciate the compliments, and I was really happy after the screening. As Neeley said, a lot of people complimented about it, and I hope it does well. I suggest everyone check it out. It'll be out February 12th. So I think, and you don't have to be a metalhead to enjoy it. It's not just about hard rock and metal. Although knowing me, I cater. I think this genre, hard rock and metal, I think is probably been affected more than any other genres with the branding.
Sure.
Because, bands like, big band Kiss or Foreigner and all that, the classic bands are bigger today than they were back then. And, they're carrying on the name after, 50 some odd years, things are going to change. So, it does focus more on, of course, hard rock and metal. But I think it would be something that anyone could enjoy, not even a music fan. It's really, about the entertainment business and how things are changing.
Hey, Bob, I got a question for you. So,
speak, John.
What's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Hey, you actually got
on you, buddy.
Hey, I'm on the show, and you actually got on the show tonight. This is a change from the norm.
I know. I was telling Neeley while we're waiting. I said, "Dude, get used to it. It's going to be another 4 hours before they get back to it."
That was not my fault. That was not my fault.
I think we got Neeley and Bob on hold.
I kept looking at Chris over here. I'm like, we got to get him on, right? But
you did remind him a few times.
Yes, just a few. But so I'm definitely going to check the movie out. I've watched all the Inside Metals. They're awesome. It's a super interesting concept. I actually wanted to ask you, how did you come up with the idea for this band versus brand thing? Because it's a really interesting concept.
Well, it was something that was, we were all well aware of. That's hard, tongue twister. Actually, when I met with Brian Pereira from Cleopatra, he was a big fan of the Inside Metal movies, and we had known each other for quite a while, and I've known Tim Yasui for a very long time, since he was at Metal Blade. So we had been in touch, and they called me over. We had a meeting at Cleopatra, and this was during the time, I think, when Bobby Blotzer was taking over Rat with the name, and we were kind of like laughing about how not just the classic 70s bands or bands from the 60s, but here we are, bands from the 80s, Rat, with Bobby Blotzer, Quiet Riot with Frankie Benelli, and then, we're talking about all the bands, the two versions of Great White, this and that, and, we were just talking, and he's like, wow, this would make for an interesting documentary. Would you want to do something like this? I'm like, fuck yeah, this would be great. I mean, it's something that, is happening now. It's very apparent in the music business, and it's, a bit controversial, but it's something that, and I knew then it would be tough to get a lot of the bands that are, the bands like, say, Rat or Queensryche or, a Quiet Riot or LA Guns or, bands that have the two different lineups. We got Jack Russell of Great White. He was great. And, but, I knew a lot of these other bands, they were in litigation and stuff with the members. They're not going to want to, be on a documentary.
Right. And let's be honest, Bob. Jack was very revisionist history with what he said to you. His statement of, I was just fine with two versions of the band. No, he wasn't, because we interviewed him and he was dead set against it.
Yeah. I know. I think a lot of people are going to change like that. I think now they have to realize that, hey, there's nothing they could do. They went through the courts and whatever. So what are you going to do?
Right.
And I could have done something with a lot of these artists, and have each member of the band slam the other guy. Oh, the guy's a piece of shit. Oh, fuck him. And then I'm sure that would have got a lot more attention. It would have gone on all the fucking news sites with their fucking clickbait shit these days. It's about so and so slam so and so, and
right.
I didn't want that. I didn't want to deal with that kind of bullshit. And I wanted it just to be just a perspective about, and that's why I didn't get just band members too. I got people in the music business, Mike Varney, David Ted, publicists, and different people involved in different avenues of the business that come from a bit of a different perspective than just the artist.
Sure. Now, Bob, real quick, before we get out of here, I called you this week, which was very rare because me and you will text on occasion, but I almost never call. But you're
like one of those bitches.
I am. I really am. But we actually interviewed Marty. John and I interviewed Marty Friedman, and you told me two stories that I wanted you to recap on the show. One about you getting Marty his gig, or at least his tryout in Megadeth.
I can't, and again, we talked about this earlier, Bob, Aiken and I can't believe that Chris didn't know this. Like, when we went to do the interview, I was Googling him to find if there was anything I could...
Why? He never asked. I've known Chris for over 10 years, but I'm not the kind of guy like other people in the business. I need to boast about shit. Hey, by the way, Marty Friedman, by the way, I'm the one that got him in that gig.
Well, it was...
it's like, I thought it was common knowledge with a lot of people. Apparently, I saw it on one of those Loudwire things. In fact, one guy just did an interview with today goes, yeah, I saw on Loudwire that they said that I never knew you got, Marty and Megadeth. And
yeah, it's on his wiki page.
It was Alex from Testament. What's that?
Yeah, it was on his wiki page. Like, I was looking stuff up to think about something I could ask Marty that wasn't like a stock question. And on his Wikipedia page, it says, got his, tryout for Megadeth from Bob Nalbandian. And I was like, holy shit. So I hit up Aiken. I was like, did you know this? And he said, no. So I was like, holy God.
Yeah, I just figured everyone. I mean, Marty's always given acknowledged that. I mean, if anyone asks him, and he'll correct them pretty quickly, like he did with the other guy on Loudwire. And I mean, it's not something I'm very proud of the fact. I mean, I love Marty, and I was really proud of getting him in Megadeth, but it's not something I'm gonna, I feel the need to boast every minute.
Well, how did that happen?
Compliments.
I mean, you got to tell the story. That's awesome.
I knew Marty. Marty and I were pen pals back when he was in a band called Hawaii. He actually had a friend that I was pen pals with, Daryl Amaki. If any of you old school pen palers know, that he was like a big guy back in the early '80s, tape trader and stuff from Hawaii, and he knew Marty. He was really good friends with Marty in Hawaii, and we got hooked up through there. So Marty and I were trading tapes, and that's when Marty sent a tape out to Mike Barney. It was around that same time he was on the first U.S. Metal with his band Vixen. Then he had Aloha, was on a Metal Blade compilation. Then, of course, the band Hawaii. And they had come over here in the late 80s. It was kind of funny. They came out to do some shows in L.A. and the Bay Area, and they flew out from Hawaii, which is, is like, flying out from another country. I mean, expense-wise, it's not something, that's for a band that's unsigned. And, so he came out, and they didn't have any shows. It just came out, and they thought it would be easy just to call the club. So he asked me, and we booked him a show at this Anaheim club, Radio City. And so I got to know Marty really well. And then when he hooked up with Jason and Jason Becker with Cacophony, I was working with them.
All right.
And we were actually talking about doing some management because I had hooked up with a great guy, Gary Monroe, who was actually at the screening. I hadn't seen him in years. He came out. This was like 89, 90. I started work with him. But anyway, to make the long story short, we were talking about working together with Cacophony, and then around that same time, Jason got the gig with David Lee Roth, and then Dean just got the gig with Bad English at the time.
Okay.
And so Marty's like, Marty was super happy for him, obviously, but he's like, man, I don't know if I could do this band thing. I really want to get in the big band. Do you know anyone? And I said, yeah. I just spoke with Ron Lafitte, who was Megadeth's manager. Now he's managing like Alicia Keys and Pharrell and all these One Republic.
He's a big guy, yeah.
But he was a total metalhead. I knew him from back in the Armored Saint days. He worked with back in the day, and I knew Ron really well, and he had just told me, we're looking for a guitar player if you know anyone. And so I said, yes, as a matter of fact, I know Marty Friedman, and we sent him down, sent him some pictures. From the pictures, they're kind of like, he's a little bit glammy, from the Cacophony pictures. I said, hey, wait till you see him in person, and so he went down there and he just fucking blew them away. And Ron's like, dude, this dude is fucking amazing. And he's like, man, he did this thing in Holy Wars, that little kind of Middle Eastern kind of little acoustic riff he does in there. He's
the Egyptian part.
Came on that he goes, he just comes up with these parts that just fucking blow Dave's mind. This dude is unbelievable. So they started rehearsing together, and that was that. Got in the band and started Rust in Peace, and that came across really quickly because I think that album came out in '90, and he wasn't even in the band. I mean, he got right in the band and boom, right into songwriting mode. So they wrote that album in a matter of months, and of course, Nick Menza was in the band and David Ellison, and Marty was quite involved, I think, in some of the songwriting on that, which is really cool for a brand new member just to come on in and and again, Chris will concur, that's not just the greatest Megadeth album, one of the greatest metal albums of the 80s.
Of course.
Or
Not any time, I think.
Yeah. One of the best thrash metal albums, period.
Nice.
Speaking of thrash metal, we hung out with Joel MacGyver. He's another guy that we were.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, which was really cool. It was really good to see Joel. I had met him just once before at a NAMM a few years ago. And so, yeah, Neeley and I hung out with him for about a half hour or so and, shot the shit and stuff. So that was another really cool thing we forgot to mention.
Very cool, man. Well, it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun out there, man. Sounds like it's been a fun time once again.
Yeah, having a good time. I think we're going to call it 9 now. No Stro Rum tonight, Chris Aiken. we're staying off the booze. But I think you want to mention. Did you mention to Marty about Ozzy? Did he remember any of that?
We did not.
We did not bring it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually. A funny thing. It's funny because I didn't really realize it till afterwards. When Ozzy was looking for a guitar player with Zach, which was a couple years, maybe a year before Megadeth. Mm-hmm. When did Zach join? 88, 89?
Right in there, yeah.
Yeah. And I had a really good friend at KNAC, and they were close with KNAC was the rock metal station, the
Sure.
go-to station when it comes to anything in LA. Mm-hmm. And I guess Sharon talked to them and said, hey, we're looking, for a new guitar player. If KNAC could hook something up, put the word out, kind of. So I knew this guy, and they said, look, get me a package. He knew I managed, I was working with Marty. Mm-hmm. And I said, and this is before Cacophony and stuff. So he said, yeah, let me get, or maybe, I think they had just put up the first Cacophony record, but I gave him the package, and he said, I'll put this right on top, make sure they get it. And I didn't hear anything. And then like a week or two later, Marty called me and said, dude, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And I forgot all about it. I go, thanks for what? He goes, Ozzy, they flew me down to L.A. He was living in San Francisco at the time with Jason. I go, oh, you're kidding. He goes, yeah, they flew me down, and I auditioned and hung out with the band. And, at the time, I said, well, what happened? You think you guys, I think, everyone there, he said, we're like, that, that's when it was the big, the poser thing where everyone had the big hair.
Right.
And everyone that went there, I think Doug Marks was there, the metal.
Yeah, the teacher guy.
Yeah.
Hair, the mile line. He said everyone looked like that, and these big boots and spandex. And he said he just came in jeans with a shirt, and but he said he shredded. They loved him, but he said, yeah, I think I was too short too because everyone else there was like over 6 feet tall and blah blah blah. But he said it was great, but obviously he didn't get that gig, and he got in Megadeth, so.
I think it worked out okay.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
nice. Well, dude, it sounds like it's been a great time, man. And obviously, once again, Band versus Brand is what? February 12th?
February 12th, worldwide on Cleopatra Entertainment. You could actually pre-order on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and look up Band vs. Brand, and go ahead, pre-order it, and it will be out digitally and in all the great digital outlets. Hopefully, probably a week after the DVD comes out.
Well, I personally recommend it, and not because Bob is a friend, because believe me, if Bob was a friend and it was a piece of shit, I would say so. But it is a very, very strong documentary, one of, for sure, the best of Bob's. What do you got? 5 now? 5 that are out?
It's always confusing because each Inside Metal is 2 DVDs, but This would be 4. And then the 5th one, or I should say the 4th Inside Metal title, will be a Bay Area Godfathers that will feature both Neeley and Chris in it.
Of course it
and
will.
That is looking really good. Curtis is who actually Neeley met. He was at the screening. He's editing now, and we're going through that, and we're hoping that'll be out later this year.
Well, Bob, I'm just going to tell you now, if I'm in it one time less than Neeley, you're banned from the show forever.
All right, that's the deal.
I don't know.
Already got his praise in this movie.
That's right. So it's my turn.
Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I think you owe Bob one because of the last time he was supposed to be on. You didn't let him on the show. I think you owe him one.
No, we're even. We're even from that. All right, brother. Yeah. Go enjoy the rest of your time, man.
All right. Here's Neeley.
All right, man.
Take care, Bob.
All right. I did forget to mention that I did run into Joel MacGyver. So
yeah.
I heard Bob mention that. That was pretty cool.
That's cool, dude. It sounds like you guys have had a good time, man.
He was very, very complimentary of the show. He said, you guys do some great stuff on there. He says, I listen pretty frequently. He says, you guys do a lot of great stuff.
Nice.
So that was a nice compliment. Meeting Joel was pretty cool, and I ran into Jack Frost, and of course he had a lot of nice things to say.
Hey, brother, how you been?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen you since May.
Exactly. And of course Nader being the character that he always is, he had me cracking up.
Of course.
He's just funny. So yeah, overall it was like old home week, just hanging out with all the boys, and Jarvis was there from Night Demon as well.
Oh, nice! You ran into him, huh?
He was at the screening.
Oh, cool! Did you say hello?
No, I missed him. Bob said, "Hey, there goes Jarvis."
And you were like, "Yeah, who cares?"
Yeah. And Rudy Starzo was hanging out, and
do you have his puppy?
John Sykes, and it was just, as Bob mentioned, it was just a big who's who of rock stars there that night.
That's cool, man. Sounds great.
Yeah. So overall, good, successful weekend. Not looking forward to getting on the plane in the morning, but it is what it is.
Yep, exactly. Well, good, man. Well, go enjoy the rest of your evening, man. It's only 9 o'clock there.
It's only 9 o'clock, so it's time to go enjoy some Jack and Cokes now.
Well, there you go. Go drink a few. Drink like 6 for me.
Yeah, Neely's only going to have 2.
I don't know.
Well, all right, boys. We'll carry on. Glad we could check in and regale everyone with the week's events.
All right, brother. Well, good.
Everybody get your band versus brand next month.
Yeah, no shit. Definitely order it. It's on Amazon. Go get it.
Yep.
All right, brother.
All right, dudes. Carry on. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. We'll see you later.
Hail and kill, Neely.
Hail and fucking kill.
Hey, language.
Hand job.
And job. See ya.
Later. All right, there goes Neely and Bob.
I was going to say, there goes Neely.
There goes Neely and Bob.
Usually it's Neely going, well, there goes John. So now I could say, there goes Neely.
Yeah, how about that? Well, I'll tell you what. I have had to piss for 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and I pissed in the middle, and I have to piss again. So you go first, and then I'll go. So
how about this? We're going to play a couple of tunes, 2-3 tunes. We're going to play a little Slash. Brand new Slash.
Nice.
Featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators.
Yep.
So this is Mind Your Manners. Check it out. It is Slash exclusively here
on your classic metal show.